So here's the deal. A lot of times we focus on the idea of evangelism, and it's a good thing. We need to. That's one of the last things Jesus said to us before he went back into heaven was, make disciples, tell others about Jesus. But here's the thing. Too many times in evangelism, we end up becoming robotic and not relational. See, the problem is the culture we live in doesn't respond to roboticness anymore. It doesn't respond to rigid lines fed to people just to make them feel better. It doesn't respond to that. It responds to relational touches. Things like, well, for instance, there's a reason why podcasts are so popular. It's because the entertainment people want to listen to is more like a conversation. They're not getting that fulfillment of conversation and closeness in relationships elsewhere. Therefore, they get it in their music. Their time to just plug in the earphones and listen to a fake conversation that feels like they're a part of it. Because we, as humans, crave relationships. One of the things is in evangelism, we've got to stop being so robotic. When someone talks to us about our faith, we can't just start feeding them lines and going into a robotic mode because that turns people off nowadays. I've been guilty of this myself. We just kind of switch off we switch on autopilot, basically, and start just talking about things. In effect, we become more like C-3PO.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
When we need to be more like Lando Calrissian.
You got a lot of guts coming here after what you pulled.
Wait, not that one. Sorry.
How you doing, you old pirate? So good to see you.
Much better. That's how we need to come off to the world. And if we don't, we're going to continue to shut people away. And they say, I don't want anything to do with Christianity. They're just robots. They don't mean anything they say. One of my favorite things about James, the book of James, he talks about, listen, if someone comes to you with a real need and you turn them away and say, hey, hope you get some food, we'll be praying for you. What good is that? I mean, you basically turn on the robot switch of, I'll pray for you. I'll be here if you need me. Go in peace. Doesn't do anybody any good. They're still hungry. See, the gospel, yes, it is telling people about Jesus with our words, but it's living it out in our actions. Too many times those things get left out, our actions, and not just actions, how we really relate to people. If we come off like a robot, the gospel's not going to be as effective. If we come off like we don't actually care what we're saying, but we're just saying it because that's what we've been taught, it doesn't really become effective. When you tell people things and attack kind of certain mindsets and go into line mode, you start to sound like a politician when it comes to a debate. And it's one of my favorite things. You ask them a direct question, something super, super simple. Mr. Senator, the question is for you. What is 2 plus 2? And they'll come up with some crazy long 2-minute answer that doesn't even answer the question that was asked. That's an excellent question. See, when I think of that question, it reminds me of a tree. I grew up with a small tree around my house, and at the base of that tree were large roots, and those roots would just grow and grow. And that's how I feel we've gone off track. And that's how I feel we need to get back on track. If we would just do that, we'd be okay. And that's what we have to avoid. We have to avoid the idea of just coming off like we planned something ahead of time to give, if they say this, I go here. If they say this, I go here. Because that's not reality. And if you look at the life of Jesus, when he dealt with the Samaritan woman at the well, he was relational. When we deal with the life of Jesus and see how he dealt with others, relationship is what came across, not robot. Jesus never acted like a Pharisee and just turned on robot mode. In fact, he got mad at the Pharisees for doing that same thing. So in our evangelism, in sharing the gospel, when we're telling people about Jesus, when we're living out our faith, we have to do it with our words, our actions, our attitudes. We have to stop being robots and start being relational. Check out more stuff at briandrakeshow.com.